Jazakallah. Thank you, Dr. Zakir Naik. We now move on to the second part of the program, which is the question and answer session. For the purpose of the question and answer session, may we have slips of papers being sent over here so that we may pose these questions, as well as those of you who are interested in asking questions directly to Dr. Zakir Naik. There are 2 mics that have been provided in the auditorium. You have one in the ladies section, and sisters who are keen on asking questions to Dr. Zakir Naik may pose questions to him on the mic over there. And we have one over here, right in the front, next to the stage. And members of the gents audience who wish to ask questions may also do so. Let me briefly tell you what should be the guidelines that we would like to observe during the question and answer session so that we derive maximum benefit. One person at a time would be allowed to ask a question. If you have more than one question, please await your turn at the end of the queue so that when your chance comes, you can ask your second question. After you have asked the question, please do not go back to your seat. Remain standing at your position so that Dr. Zakir Naik can address you while answering your question. May we have the questions over here so that we can begin soon, please? Please, sister, may we have your first question?
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. In an attempt to promote Islam, is it all right to quote from the translations of the Qur'an? And if so, how do we know which translations are authentic?
The sister asked a question that while promoting Islam, giving the message of Islam, can we quote the translation of the glorious Quran? And if we have to do, then how do you know which is authentic? Sister, there are various translations available in the languages. As I told you, approximately 100 or a little bit more than 100. What you have to do, sister, a person who's an expert in both the languages, Urdu and Arabic, you have to ask the person who's well versed in both the languages, which is a better translation. The best, what I always say, that if every Muslim knows Arabic as a language himself, that's the best. So he himself can judge what is right, what is wrong. He himself can get the message of the Quran directly and then propagate amongst the people. But since I know that 80% of the Muslim world doesn't know Arabic, what you can do is that you can ask the person who's an expert in that field, who knows that language, maybe Malayalam or maybe Tamil, whatever language it is, and Arabic, and see whether it's right or wrong. And those people are well versed in both the languages, they will be able to tell you which translation is correct. Or you can compare the various translations that you have. If there are more than one, if there are 10, you can compare, and you'll find that majority of the places, they are common. In some places, there are difference of opinion. So when the basis of difference of opinion arises, that time you can go and ask a person who's well versed in both the languages, which is more correct. And a person who has knowledge of the Sahih Hadith also. Besides having knowledge of the Quran, many times the commentary of the Quran is given in Sahih Hadith. So a person who's well versed with Quran and Sahih Hadith, he will be in a better position to explain to you that which commentary is better and which translation is better. Hope that answers the question.
We have received certain slips of questions over here. The first question that is posed to Dr. Zakir Naik is that the media always portrays Muslims to be very ruthless and barbaric. And one of the instances that they quote very often is the slaughtering of animals. Why do Muslims slaughter the animals in a ruthless manner by torturing it slowly and painfully killing it is a common question that a lot of non-Muslims writers portray in the media. How does one answer this onslaught?
The brother posed a question, and it's a good question, that the media and non-Muslims, they portray Islam as a ruthless religion, as a merciless religion, and they quote an instant that why do Muslims, when you all kill the animal, when you all eat the animal, you all slaughter in a particular fashion, so ruthlessly, you all torture him slowly and you make him die slowly and so painfully. Why not directly in one shot, one jhatka finish? Why are you all so ruthless? And one, there was an argument going on between a Muslim and a Sikh. You know, a Sikh is a person who comes mainly from Punjab, you know. They start from there. Sikh is a person who wears the turban. They are Sikhs. We have approximately 2% of Sikhs in India. So once a Muslim brother of ours and a Sikh was having a discussion. And the Sikh was saying, oh, you Muslims, you all are ruthless people. You all torture the animal painfully. Why don't just give one jhatka and finish the animal is dead? Why kill the animal so mercilessly? So our Muslim brother, he replied, that see, you Sikhs, you are a coward people. You are attacked from behind. Muslims, we are mard ka bacha. We are attacked from the front. This was a battle of wits. It's not the right answer. It's a battle of wits. He didn't know, so he said, oh, you are a coward people, attacking from behind. We are mard ka bacha. We are brave, courageous. We are attacked from the front. That's not the answer why the Muslims slaughter. That he was using his hikmah. The reason that we Muslim do zabiha is the Arabic word for the Islamic way of sacrifice, of slaughtering, is zabiha. Is during zabiha there are certain conditions that the knife should be sharp and the cut should be quick and various conditions. And amongst them the main is that you should take the name of Allah and you should even cut the windpipe and the vessels of the neck. The jugular veins and the arteries out here should cut. The reason that we cut the windpipe and the jugular veins and the vessels of the neck is because when we cut, we should see to it that we don't damage the spinal column. Only cutting the front part, the animal is yet alive. The heart is yet pumping. So when the animal is yet alive and the heart is yet pumping, the majority of the blood flows out of the body of the animal. Majority of the blood. The reason that we want the blood to flow out of the animal's body is because today's science tells us that blood is a very good media of germ, bacteria and toxins. And if we have this blood along with the meat, there are high chances that you may get various diseases. So we Muslims, we are hygienic people. That's the reason when we slaughter in the Islamic fashion. And besides that, meat, which is slaughtered by the Islamic way of zabiha, remains fresh for a longer time. Remains fresh for a longer time as compared to meat by jhatka, directly with the one shot or by stunning or letting the blood remain. Because blood is a good media of germ and bacteria, the meat can get rotten very fast. So it remains fresh for a longer time. And besides that, if you analyze, it's a misconception that the animal feels pain. Because when we do zabiha, when we slaughter and we cut the vessels of the neck, the blood supply which goes to the nerve, which is responsible for feeling of the pain, that blood supply is cut off. So the animal does not feel pain. The blood supply going to the nerve, which is responsible for feeling of pain, is severe. So the animal does not feel pain. I do know that the animal kicks and writhers, but the kicking and writhing is due to the gush or flow of blood. It is not due to pain. In fact, on the other hand, in stunning, when you hit the animal hard, the animal feels tremendous pain. Here it's a quick cut and the blood supply to the nerve going is severe and the animal does not feel pain. He dies after a few minutes, 3-4 minutes, but it's not torture to death. In stunning, very often the animal dies after 5 minutes, very often. Sometimes may die on the spot, but very often even that animal also shivers. But in the zabiya method, he does not feel pain. Even in stunning directly also if he dies, yet it is more inhuman than the Islamic method in which the blood flows out, germ and bacteria is less, the meat remains fresh for a longer time, and the animal does not.
May we have the next question, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Junaida from Mangalore. Some Maulvis say that journalism is not a good profession for Muslims. They say it consists more of ghibat, which Islam does not permit. But brother, even I'm unhappy to say that those are the one who does not, those are the one who do not forget to read the rumors page when they have the paper in their hand.
The sister has posed the question that some of the Maulvis say that journalism is not a good profession because it consists of ghibat, and besides that, these are the same people who, when read the newspaper, they read the newspaper of humor or rumors, whatever it is. So isn't these people are contradicting? Sister, journalism is of various types. Why do those Maulvis read, whether they read or not, I don't know, sisters. Whether the Maulvis read rumor or don't read rumor, I'm not aware of that. You can ask, each individual Maulvi is a different person, so you can't just blame all Maulvis together. You can't paint all the people with the same brush. I don't know which Maulvi you are referring to. But coming to the first part of the question, that some people say that journalism involves ghibat. Sister, journalism is of various types. You have genuine journalism, yellow journalism where you simply malign people. You have journalism which is good. And you have to follow the basic guidelines of the Qur'an, which says in Surah Isra chapter 17, verse 81, وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَاقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. When truth is heard against falsehood, falsehood perishes. For falsehood is by its nature bound to perish. So if you are doing journalism, see to it that you always speak the truth. I do know the Qur'an says ghibat is wrong in Surah Humazah chapter 104 verse number 1. وَيْلُلْ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Woe to every kind of scandalmonger and backbiter. The Qur'an says in Surah Hujurat chapter 49 verse number 11 and 12 that do not backbite. If you backbite, it's as though you're eating the meat of a dead brother. I do know backbiting is wrong. So in journalism, you don't have to backbite, sister. And one more thing is there, that what is made public, suppose a person does something evil, and if you warn the people that this person is a bad person, that's not called a backbiting. If you call it backbiting, I would say that type of backbiting is allowed in Islam. Where if you're warning someone, for example, the hadith of beloved Prophet which says that somebody comes to ask you that you want to marry so-and-so person, and you know the background of that person, you say, no, that boy is not good, he has alcohol. If that's called backbiting, that type is allowed, because you're warning the persons against certain harm. So if you're warning the people of the ummah against certain harm of certain person, this type is allowed in Islam. So in journalism, if it's the truth, and you warn the people against some calamity, against certain evil, Islam gives you permission. But don't write wrong things just to earn money.